Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news and Chelsea news. Lots to talk about. All the links that we've had recently, it's not really going our way. And some part of me is actually quite happy about that because for me, all of these rumors, all of this nonsense stuff, it makes no difference. And I'm going to talk about that with a little bit more details. But before we get into all of the news, there's news in regards to Cole Palmer as well. There's news in regards to Douglas Luiz, Jeremy Jacquet, and a few other bits and bobs that's been floating about. But before we get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've missed out on the latest episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea, it was an absolute banger. It was a full house. Matisse, myself, Alexis, Don, CB, it was chaos. Make sure you go and check the live stream out earlier on today, UK time, 10 a.m. Check that out and leave your comments behind as to what you thought about all the topics we talked about. Get involved, smash the like button there, smash the like button here as well. Hype, subscribe, do all of that. I'm only few subscribers away from 48,000 subscribers, so get me to 50,000 ASAP. Now, let's get stuck into it. Breaking, Aston Villa beat Chelsea to signing of Douglas Luiz. I couldn't care less. I mean, there's two sides of the coin here. Pardon the pun. One side of the coin is, it's a bit embarrassing. Why does Chelsea keep throwing themselves in the front foot, not front foot, in the front lane, always linking ourselves with these players, and then eventually, it doesn't look good that it doesn't end up, the player doesn't end up at Chelsea Football Club. The player ends up somewhere else. That's the same with Douglas Luiz. It's probably going to be the same with Jeremy Jacquet as well. So that's one side of the story. It makes us look very incompetent. The other side of the coin here is, I'm glad it didn't work out because I didn't even like this player. This player is not the same player as he was 2 seasons ago. Aston Villa has picked him up. Big up to Aston Villa. Aston Villa trying to do something important. They've gone for Tammy Abraham. They're going for Douglas Luiz. They're going for experience. Kudos to them. But this is the type of experience I don't need. If there is a need to bring in a midfielder, which I said, it's not the immediate concern. Although, if Liam Rossino continues with Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Andrey Santos as a trio all the time, and also utilizes Reece James in the game as a right back, then there might be a need because both Asugu and Romeo Lavia have been injured. Romeo Lavia, the less we talk about his injuries, better. I know he's back into training, and we're going to talk about that. That's the other news that's been floating about. But right now, it's more about let's keep Lavia fit so we can actually ship him off in the summer. Because if he's injured, he ain't going nowhere. Right? So, look, for me, there's rumors that N'Golo Kante is available. Get someone, if you want to get experience, and I want experience, get experience of the highest level. Players that have actually won trophies. N'Golo Kante is a player that knows Chelsea Football Club as well. But the rumor is that he's closer to Fenerbahce. We'll see what happens there. I don't think Chelsea is going to go for someone like N'Golo Kante. But me personally, I'm happy. I'm happy with Douglas Luiz not happening because he doesn't really improve us or does anything for us. However, having said that, Chelsea are still interested to bring in another midfielder. Apparently, there's a contingency plan, and that's what I'm worried about. What is this contingency plan? Because I've got no faith in this ownership with the sporting directors to actually do the right thing by the squad. Actually make us, progress us for next season to win the Premier League. Because if you're not winning the Premier League, this is your 4th season. Next season, 5th season. You're just participation award. That's all it is. Chelsea declined to pursue Douglas Luiz after initial inquiry, planned to prioritize Andrey Santos and other members of the current squad. Coming from David Ornstein. I mean, planned to prioritize Andrey Santos and other members of the current squad. Well, you didn't know that? When pursuing for Douglas Luiz. All of a sudden, Chelsea declined to pursue Douglas Luiz after initial inquiry, planned to prioritize Andrey Santos and other. So you didn't know you had Andrey Santos and other members in the squad. You didn't know that. All of a sudden, you figured this out. Time and time again, this keeps happening. A rumor comes around, from people like David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. And then a few days later, yeah, we're looking to move away because we've got internal solutions. You always had internal solutions. I don't understand why you keep linking us to players that are not wanted. Now, recently, Semenyo, for example. Semenyo is a very good player. We linked ourselves with Semenyo, and then a few days later, oh, no, we declined. We didn't want to pursue because, we're thinking elsewhere. We've got options. So why'd you link yourself to Semenyo? What made you pick up the phone and call Semenyo? What's making you pick up the phone to call Douglas Luiz? All of a sudden, you think you've got options. A few days ago, you didn't think there was options. Chelsea are still considering some midfield options, but it was a no to the condition wanted by Juventus for Luiz. Chelsea didn't even want a buy option included. He wasn't important for their project, just a fourth choice midfielder almost for free. This is what I said. When this Douglas Luiz rumor came about, I said, Douglas Luiz is going to be fourth, fifth choice. He ain't going to be coming to Chelsea Football Club to be fourth, fifth choice. He's 27. Even though Douglas Luiz seems like he's on the decline, he's a player, he's going to think, I'm at my peak now. I'm 27. He ain't coming to Chelsea to be second fiddle to no one. We have to understand some of this stuff when when Chelsea Football Club, they go and try and pursue certain players. What are you doing? What are you actually doing? But what I'm more worried about is Chelsea are still considering some midfield options. That's what I'm worried about. It's going to be another one of those Bonanotte situations, isn't it? But we'll see. A few more days left in the transfer window. Let's see exactly what Chelsea Football Club's about. But I agree. If we were meant to get Douglas Luiz, then yeah, I agree. It should be almost a free transfer. No loan fee. You cover the wages, and he spends his time here. And maybe even I could have even understood if we were trying to do some sort of a business relationship. That, all right, you know what? We'll pay part of his wages. We bring him to Chelsea Football Club, becomes a fourth, fifth choice, which I don't think he would have anyway, but let's play the fact that he does. Maybe we try and build that relationship with Juventus to see if we can buy some Juventus players down the track. For example, Yildiz, who, by the way, has now apparently signed a new contract. So, yeah, new contract with Juventus. So that ain't going to happen. So this business relationship that we could have even pursued, even that would not have been fruitful. So overall, it was good that we moved away. I just don't understand why we got ourselves involved in the first place. Chelsea declined to pursue Douglas Luiz, as Romeo Lavia is now back in training, and Asugu will be back in 3 weeks. Plus, they have Enzo, Santos, and Caicedo. So once again, if you had all of this knowledge that Lavia is going to be back training, which is Asugu is going to be back in 3 weeks, then why are you going out there getting midfielders? It's not an immediate concern. Immediate concern is upgrade the centre-back position. Get a top quality, experienced centre-back. Once again, the club's moving in a nonsensical manner. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, sure, when Chelsea win, you celebrate, you appreciate. But overall, the picture is glim. Overall, the picture with this ownership, aim is to win Premier League. Aim is to win the Champions League. And the way these owners, they're moving, they're not really interested. In fact, it's not really their objective to win any of these major trophies. Because if it was, you wouldn't be involved in such nonsense business. Liam Rossi on Lavia back in training. In terms of Romeo, in his recent history, it's not been what he's wanted. He has the potential to be a world-class midfielder. We need to make sure when he's back, he's fully fit. He needs to clear a few hurdles before he fully trains. But I'm very excited to work with him. Look, none of us can get excited about Romeo Lavia being back because this is now what? The 20th time he's been back? And then 2-3 weeks later, he's back into the hospital bed again. So until and unless I see Romeo Lavia actually play and start 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, miss me with this. Honestly, miss me with this. I'm glad he's back training. I hope he stays fit. But the way I'm looking at it now, keep him fit until the summer window, and then maybe part ways. Maybe it's time to part ways. Unless and until I see him do what Reece James has done recently with his health, it's time to part ways, because there's no point in harboring a player that's just not going to give you any impact, any input whatsoever in the season. So I'm not going to get too gassed about Romeo Lavia being back in training. Trust me, guys. I love it when Fabrizio Romano starts off with, trust me, guys. Trust me, bro. Source, trust me, bro. Trust me, guys. Big battle ongoing between Chelsea, Liverpool, and Bayern to sign Jacquet. Oh, big battle. Oh, I am so excited about this battle. These are the kind of battles I want to win. Chelsea and Liverpool would love to sign him now, but Rennes want to sell for the summer only. All three clubs in conversation with Rennes and the players' representatives. Look, seems like there's something about the player because top clubs are involved. But me personally, we've got a lot of young players there already, a lot of young defenders. Anselmino has been recalled. Potentially Mamadou Sarr might be recalled. We've got Achapong. There's a lot of young defenders. Levi Colwell himself is a young defender. I'm okay to miss out on another young prospect like Jacquet. I'm fine. I can live with that because I've got too many to work with anyway. A lot of young CBs to work with anyway. So that is my perspective. Even if we were to get rid of all of the other nonsense defenders that we have, Tosin, Buddy Shield, SRC, as much as I like Chalobah, but ultimately he's really a squad level. But if you were to get Chalobah out as well, okay, fine. Get a new defender, but don't give me another kid defender. And if you lot think that this is a defender that we just can't miss, he's, as people say, the Estevao of defenders. All right, let's try. Let's try. Let's see where it takes us. Sky Sports have been told Chelsea are privately laughing the Cole Palmer rumours off and that he's very happy at Chelsea. Chelsea would not sell unless an offer that we've never seen before outside the likes of Saudi, Neymar, to Barca money comes in. He's not for sale. It seems like he is for sale because it looks like if Saudi money comes through or even Neymar to Barcelona money comes through, he's going to be entertained. So that means there is a price. My bottom line with this is where there's a bit of smoke, there's a bit of fire. Sure, Cole Palmer's not going anywhere now. Let's see what happens in the summer. I don't think it's got anything to do with Cole Palmer being homesick, that he wants to return back to Manchester. He's got his friends, family. I don't think that's the case because he should have known that when he signed a long-term contract with Chelsea. But I do think Cole Palmer might be bored with Chelsea. I do think Cole Palmer might be at a stage where he just doesn't believe in Chelsea anymore. And it's understandable. There's a lot of nonsense that Chelsea's up to that makes you feel that, what's the long-term plan? If you're not here to win the Premier League, then what are you doing? And players like Cole Palmer, they're not just here to make up the numbers and just consistently only come fourth and fifth and whatnot and just keep making Champions League football and not really doing anything substantial. They're not just that type of player at all. Cole Palmer is happy at Chelsea and is untouchable. I love how all of these journalists, it's interesting to see that so many of them they have to come forward. They have to put it out there on a regular basis that Cole Palmer is untouchable. If he's really that untouchable, you don't really need to go out there and keep saying it all the time. You've said it once, and that's fine. But the fact that you're continuously saying this, as I said, where there is a bit of smoke, there's always a bit of a fire. Liam Rossignol confirms Cole Palmer has traveled to Italy, which is fantastic news. Would love to see him play against Napoli. Napoli, big match coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about all of this in the All You Can Eat Chelsea's latest episode. Do make sure you check that out, where we covered the ground on Napoli. Me personally, I'm not being cocky, but I'm confident moving into this game. I feel like we should beat them. It's going to be a tough game. Napoli need to win to stay in the Champions League for the playoffs. We need to win to ensure we navigate away from the playoffs and we automatically qualify to the next round and be in the top 8. Napoli's got a lot of injuries, man, to key players. Lots of them. It's up to us to go there, do our business, make sure we are resolute, make sure we are focused, and take care of business. Good to see that Cole Palmer has traveled to Italy, and it's going to be a much-needed bolster to the team, to the squad, for sure. Whether he starts or not, we shall see. His injury is really becoming a bit of an issue. Justin, barring any late drama, Chelsea outcast Raheem Sterling is set to stay at Chelsea and finish the season without even kicking a ball. Crystal Palace and West Ham are keeping tabs on Axel Disasi. I mean, look, sometimes I think if you're not going to be able to get rid of someone like Raheem Sterling, I mean, you might as well just utilize him, no? Now he hasn't played for almost 12 months. So what type of fitness, level is he at? Probably not at the right level. But if you can't get rid of him, and it's because of the wages, because of how much he's on, you might as well utilize that resource. We need goals up front. I know we've got Gittins, Garnacho, Neto. Estevao is the only standout. You might as well just try out what Sterling is going to be able to provide. Sterling, when we first got him, Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, I liked him. Even under Pochettino, I liked him. Maresca came in and that's it. He was out of favor. As I said, if you're paying that much wages, you might as well utilize. But look, nonetheless, it is what it is. Here's another one. I don't know whether he's really going to give us a massive impetus, massive impact. Probably not. But you're just keeping a player and just willy-nilly just giving wages and not really doing anything about it. And other clubs are not interested either because he's on high wages. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the latest that's happening with Chelsea Football Club and all the news that's been going around. Let me know your thoughts about Douglas Luiz, Jeremy Jacquet, Romeo Lavia, Napoli. Put down the comments, smash up the like button if you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye. And hype. Make sure you guys all hype.